Jeff Ulbrich won the night.
No doubt. I agree.
Jeff Ulbrich won the night. A lot of people are going to talk about, the quarterback duel. That really wasn't a duel because I didn't think either guy played like fantastic. And, it ended up being the other game because as soon as you turned on Atlanta Buffalo, it was like, man, this is going to be a fist fight. And Ulbrich made it that way. He did. Well, the injuries made it that way too. I mean, like every team's got injuries.
Yeah, I look at Dion at left tackle, Chris. He struggled against New England, and he still doesn't look right. And if he's not going to be able to pass, I mean, look at what Atlanta brings to the table, as far as edge. I just thought you could see Josh was really – he forces people to make him look uncomfortable a lot, but you could tell he was skittish. Like he wasn't comfortable at all. And this is 5 straight opponents for Atlanta they've held under 300 yards. Like this is like they're real.
They're absolutely real.
They're super real. I think Terrell back in the back end's a huge asset to have. We've talked about the youth that they got in the draft and have gotten plays from guys early in the season that you saw show out, like when they went to Minnesota and dominated that Sunday night game. So as awesome as Tampa has been, like Atlanta's here. Like what they bring to the table. I was going through the touches too on the offensive side. Like Bijan is. He's at over 7 yards a touch now. His average was like around 4.9 or 5, and he's averaging over 20 and a half. And then him and Algier last night combined for 36 touches, along with Drake London having 10 catches. Like that's an onslaught you got to deal with, when you start looking at them on the offensive side. So completeness of a team and knowing that a defense, like in a monster situation now you got all the eyeballs on you. Now you go out to San Francisco, who is as hard to watch the team as there is in the league. You have to feel good about going out there and getting a win, but it's a lot easier said than done. You know this league, and you know how different teams are week to week, but Atlanta's got to feel great going out west for this monster game.
They got to feel great about it. I mean, we said coming into last night, we were talking about on the live show, 2 things. Number one, we'll know a lot more about who Atlanta is after tonight. And it turns out that they're a motherfucker. I mean, the 30-0 game to Carolina's the blemish. But other than that, they've done a fantastic job generally. And you talk about some of the great teams that we think are great teams in this league here, like the Bucs. They start the season out and they fight the Bucs tooth and nail. And, what they did last night was really impressive. It just wasn't a good matchup for Josh and for the Bills. But you talk about like people's reaction to the game. We should be making a lot more about Atlanta than we are Buffalo. And you know what? Atlanta's missing guys too. Bowman's down, I think, in that game. And D. Alford, to me, was one of the studs on defense for that group. I mean, like a guy who had to step in and kind of got his job taken, but then he's ready when it's time to go. I just think Jeff Ulbrich did a great job. And I thought Joe Brady got a little bit outcoached. I think Joe Brady got his butt kicked a little bit last night, and that happens, especially when you don't have a full deck.
Yeah, and just to add to that, Chris, the Ulbrich has a really good history against Josh. Looking back to
it's the solitary.
Yeah, exactly. When you look back to 2021, when Ulbrich took over as a DC for the Jets, when you compare Josh's matchups from 21 to 24 versus the Jets compared to just across all opponents, you see a drop in completion rate, you see a drop in pass rating, you see an uptick in turnover-worthy plays. So, look, Josh is the best football player in the world, but historically he just hasn't performed to his standard against Ulbrich. So, there's something he's figured out, and I think that pressure plan he had was awesome in terms of using the athleticism of the linebackers. Ellis and Diablo were all over the place.
Diablo's
and the edge guys too. Like Walker, Ebiketie, you saw these guys dropping out, like taking away hot reads.
Onyemata played really well last night.
Yeah, absolutely. It felt like to me like almost like you think about like the Steelers, their best performances when you don't know whether Watt's coming or he's dropping out. Highsmith, is he coming? Is he dropping out? That's what it felt like. They had a great plan for third downs in this game.
Well, one of the nice things about it is they don't have any single guy up front that's like, okay, he's the guy. So scheme is not going to be dictated. You know how when you got a great wide receiver, you force the ball to him? Like, it doesn't fucking matter. We're going to call the best call. It doesn't matter if Walker's going to drop in coverage, if it's going to be Pierce, if it's going to be, any of these guys. Like we're just going to make the best call. We're going to make the most aggressive call. And to put a bow on the thing with Atlanta, like we haven't said Bijan Robinson's name so far in this breakdown. It's almost self-evident, like at this point, how much of a problem he is in the passing game as well. The way he pulls coverage out of the hook zones and opens up, space in the middle of the field. And Penix is ripping the ball. Penix is ripping the ball. The throw he made to London, he ripped that ball in the red zone. So, First Take's going to lead this morning and probably led with what's wrong with the Bills. What's wrong with the Bills is everybody's fucking hurt and their defense wasn't that good to begin with. Okay, so like if they're going to do it, they're going to have to outscore some people unless they make a big move at the deadline and get a lot better safety play. And I think they need more than one move if we're being honest defensively. It just is what it is. But I'm not going to first take you guys, and I want Falcons fans who are in here to know this. You got a good fucking football team. And that to me is the lead last night. I hate the fact that everybody leads with what's wrong with the Bills, and we
Correct.
did it too. But the Falcons were predictably a tough matchup for that group. And it does remind you of last year when like Josh goes down to Houston. D'Amico Ryan's another cover 3 dominant team down in Houston. And I think that was on the heels of the Baltimore game. And he has these hangovers. Like this team they take a minute to get out of the funk. The good thing for them is they got the bye week coming up. They can get some guys healthy, and they need guys to hurry up and get back.
Yeah, I thought one thing that stuck out, Chris, just the difference in Baltimore while we touch on them. In the New England game, and I'm not you got to have this or, immediate response. It does show they needed a number one. That's the first time I said it in 2 years.
Yeah.
That they haven't had one. And then even last night, it just gets so in the moment, it gets so blown out of proportion because you're down 2 scores on the road. That place hasn't had a Monday night game in forever. The place is rocking, and things, in a microscope, everything's bigger, and it just stuck out again. So to your point, I think there'll be a lot better. When everybody does get healthy, they know what the goal is. Going into the New England game, I thought a loss was a good thing. You don't want any more of this extra pressure that you already have on you as far as people talking about undefeated and all that nonsense.
Yeah.
So it's good. You're humbled going into a bye. You have guys that you've done it before. They really need to get the O-line going because the balance of Cook, I believe, doesn't get talked about enough because of how much everybody likes Josh. But when you can run the ball and he's as elusive as anybody, and then you can throw him the ball too, it's an extension of the run game, and that helps any offense. But, I don't want to take any more credit away from Atlanta and the defensive plan. It was awesome.